Hey everybody, this is Mike from Bulletin. Eyes and ears! Welcome to the first video in our series of Student Essentials. It's basically all the things that you wish you knew before taking your first class. In this one, we're going to be going through ear protection. First up, we need to talk about why. We need to reduce the intensity of sound waves hitting our inner ear. What we're trying to prevent is noise-induced hearing loss. Noise-induced hearing loss is permanent. It is cumulative. Basically what it is on the inside of your ear, through your ear canal, all the way through the eardrum into the cochlea. Inside the cochlea is a bunch of fluid and some hairs. These little hairs are what gets moved when the fluid gets influenced by the pressures of sound. Each time you hear a loud noise, the fluid moves, the hairs move. That gets interpreted to electrical signals by your brain. When the noise is too loud, those hairs break off, and you only have so many of them. You don't get them back, and you just get reduced hearing for the rest of your life. As a matter of fact, you get a bonus prize. You get tinnitus. Yay! For those of you who are unaware, tinnitus is a high-pitched noise that doesn't actually exist, that sometimes just you get to hear, and nobody else does. Lots of fun. To understand sound, I kind of got to dive into decibels a little bit, because that comes in handy knowing how to pick the right ear protection. So decibels are a measurement of pressure or sound. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but it's not linear. Okay, 10 decibels is 10 times louder than 0 decibels. That one's easy. If you have 20 decibels, that's 100 times louder than 0 decibels. If you have something that's 30 decibels higher, that's 1,000. The bigger the difference in decibels, the more you need to be concerned about how that's affecting your hearing. A normal human conversation is about 60 decibels. 60 decibels is a comfortable range for the human ear to sustain. No damage there. Above 80 is where things start getting a little bit more, a higher chance of damage, but only if time is involved. So above 80 decibels, like mowing the lawn is like above 80 decibels. If you sustain that for 2 hours, then you can start getting hearing damage. Above 120 decibels is where things start getting dangerous. So above 120 decibels, you can get instant hearing loss. The standard gunshot is about 165 decibels. So if we take that, 165 decibels, versus the 60 decibels of the standard human conversation, that's a 100 decibel difference. Now, if we go back to the logarithmic scale thing and throw in some math here, 100 decibels is 1 billion times or higher intensity than 60 decibels. So that's kind of crazy. That's billion with a B. So 100 decibels is 1 billion times more intense. The human ear also hears logarithmically, so it's not like we hear it 1 billion times louder. We hear it about 1,000 times louder. So you really need to pay attention when you're around loud noises, especially those up in like the 160 decibel range, because that can blow out your hearing. That can cause serious damage instantly that you never get back, ever. It's just gone. Knowing what we know about decibels and how important it is to avoid them, what do we need to look for? Now that we know more about the problem, let's talk about the solution. So when you're looking for ear protection, there's one kind of main thing that you need to look out for, and that is the NRR. You can see that here on these Peltor Sport Blasts, kind of the most inexpensive ear pro you can find. You will see that it has a noise rating of 32 NRR. What does that mean? So it basically means that it reduces 32 decibels off of the loudness of your environment, the gunshots. But you may now be thinking, oh, okay, hold on, Mike. If a gunshot is 165 decibels on average, and these reduce it by, say, 30, Well, that still means that we're above the safe threshold of 120 decibels for instant hearing damage. And you're right. The important factor here is time. When it's reducing the decibel level, it's also increasing the amount of time that you have before you get damage from that 120 decibels. So without any protection, 120 decibels, boom, that can hurt your ears. And a gunshot only lasts 3 to 5 milliseconds. Really what you're doing is you're increasing the amount of time it takes for something to damage your ears. Most importantly, when it comes to what to look for in your ear protection, is how effective it is. Ear protection only works if it fits. And like for earbuds, only works if it fills your entire ear canal. That's why they give you a bunch of different little tips and things like that when you buy in-ear hearing protection. You need to make sure that it fits and that it has the right noise reduction rating on it. And really, the higher the noise reduction rating, the more effective it's going to be. But for the most part, all of them kind of exist in the 20 to 30 NRR range, and that's probably going to be okay for most situations involving firearms. Let's talk about the types of EarPro available to you. You have two main types. You have things like this, which are in-ear. These are a pair of foam plugs, which block the noise from going all the way through to your inner ear. Or you have something that's over the ear, like these muffs, which fit completely around the outside of your ear to stop the noise from getting there in the first place. These are my daughter's. They're probably too big for her because they work for me. And those are the two kind of main types, is either in-ear plugs or over-the-ear muffs. In the middle of summer, wearing a set of muffs over your ears, running around in a class or something like that, it could get a little uncomfortable. So a pair of plugs could be nice. If you're in an indoor class where it's super loud and you're just getting bombarded by noises from other guns, man, I'm going to go with the muffs every time. So there's pros and cons to both. Ultimately, though, the best way to approach them is to use both, which I know might be a little bit overkill, but if I go to an indoor range, yeah, I'm taking a pair of foam plugs and I'm sticking those in my ear, and then I'm taking my muffs and I'm putting them on over top. Along with choosing between the plugs or muffs, you need to make a choice on whether or not you want to go passive or electronic. And in my humble opinion, there is no choice, just get the electronic ear pro. When you have electronic ear pro, it raises the levels of things that you want to hear. It blocks everything. It lowers the decibel level of every noise that you're hearing. But it takes the things that you do want to hear and then re-amplifies them back up electronically so that you can hear them. You can even hear better wearing the ear pro. It's kind of like having a hearing aid on. You will have a much better time with electronic ear pro. Just buy them. It's not even a question. Now, I know some of you out there are probably saying, but Mike, isn't there another type of ear protection? Well, yes, there is. But something like this is a topic for a different day. There are some other features that you probably want to pay attention to when you're getting ear pro. Something like Bluetooth. Well, actually, I take that back. Nobody needs Bluetooth in ear protection. If you want to hear your phone, just get a set of headphones. They sound way better than EarPro does. Batteries are another thing that you want to keep in mind when you're selecting EarPro. For something like these axles, rechargeable batteries are unavoidable, but Murphy's Law states that every time I want to use those at a range, they're going to be dead. So it's better, in my opinion, to have field replaceable batteries, AA's or AAA's especially, like these Peltor Sport TAC 100s. They take AAA's, you pop the side off, you replace them, and you can keep hearing. I throw a bunch of extra batteries in my range bag. I guarantee you your EarPro will always run out of battery when you need it the most. Usually when someone is talking and when they're saying something really cool. One of the last things that you'll probably want to keep in mind when it comes to your EarPro, less so when it comes to the earbuds, but for muffs, is the shape. Something like these Peltor TAC Sport 100s, Sport TAC 100s, whatever they're called, they're a little bit rounder, whereas something like these Howard Lights, which do the same thing, although they're a little older, and they have this cool custom paint job, they're a little bit thinner down at the bottom. Now you might go, well, I don't really care what the shape of the ear pro looks like. Well, it's not about what it looks like, it's really about how it fits, especially if you start taking classes that use rifles or carbines, because that could, the shape of that ear pro could interfere with your cheek weld. So it's something that you definitely kind of want to keep in mind and get stuff that is going to work for you in whatever type of class that you take. All right, I know what you must be thinking by now. All right, Mike, just tell me what I should get. Okay, if I was going to go back and do it all again from start as a student, this is what I would get. I would get a pair of these Peltor Sport Tactical electronic earmuffs. They come in 3 different versions. There's the 100, the 300, and the 500. Doesn't matter, whatever fits your budget, I would get one of those. They'll serve you a long time, and trust me, you'll never regret having a good set of electronic earmuffs. I would also buy 2 sets of these, the Surefire EP10s. And I would put them in 2 very strategic locations. I would put one in my car, and I would put one in my range bag. Just in case you lose your muffs, you have a set of solid, passive, really nice fitting earbuds that you can put in. These things are great. I buy them and put them everywhere. I'd also just randomly pick up a bunch of these foamies. These are not for you. These are for the people that you bring to the range that don't have ear pro already. These you can hand out like candy because they're cheap and they're disposable. And quite frankly, you wouldn't want these back after they've been in somebody's ear anyway. It's a lot easier to carry a bunch of these around than it is to carry around a bunch of muffs. So that's what I recommend. That's going to do it for us today on Ear Pro. If you have any tips or information that you'd like to share, please put it down in the comments or come join us over at the Bulletin community on Facebook. Remember to flick that subscriber nub and smash the like button, please, if you would. It's super helpful. And as always, I'm Mike from Bulletin, reminding you all to get smart, stay ready, and find training.